the dark side.
Hey guys, here I am back with my Buried series. We made it through chapter 1 okay, and so let's just get right into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and here we go with chapter 2 of Buried, an interactive story. We're standing on the thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used but not old. There are small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they are running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. But there's a small light further ahead, and then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe. This understanding comes with a very strong sense of trespassing. I'm definitely not supposed to be here. So what are we going to do in this situation, guys and gals? Well, in my situation, I would definitely not be screaming out. So I'm going to stay silent. I keep my mouth shut. I don't understand what kind of situation I'm in, so there's no need to alert whoever might be here. The reality of what I am seeing is sinking in. Whatever this place is, it reaches way underground. That seems impossible to me, making anything that's on the other side of this tunnel dangerous as far as I'm concerned. But of course I'm going to go on. Human curiosity is going to see to that. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sound. Something like the faint hum of machinery. I can go either left or right. The left is slightly lit, the right not so much. This makes me uneasy because I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this and I'd be wandering for hours. Looking each way, I jerk my head as I hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Footsteps. Did I really hear something? I wonder as my eyes strain to see anything. I wait a moment, but the sound doesn't come again. So those are my options. To the left are flickering lights, indicating that I'll at least be able to see. There's also a hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right is just darkness, but I also heard footsteps in that direction. You know what? No guts, no glory. Let's go right. You decide to head right into the darkness. If there's anyone here they're worth speaking to, right it is. Continue. Here we go. As I leave the glow of electric lights, things feel a bit more sinister. Also, the tunnel or hallway, whatever it is, seems to widen out up ahead. I wonder how Dennis is doing back at the logging site. I wince, remembering the blood around his side. Poor old Dennis again. I am a scumbag of the earth. The darkness I find myself in feels thick, like walking in syrup. I'm reminded of the fear I felt as a child when I had to go into the basement to fetch tools for my dad. We all know that feeling, ladies and gentlemen. I was sure there were snakes or spiders or monsters of unimaginable horror lurking down there. I feel that same way here, walking through the tunnel. That's when I see it, a human figure, far back in the tunnel, silhouetted in the faint light at the end. He's standing on some other platform and likely can't see me. It looks like he might be holding a gun, but it's too dark to be sure. Okay, so smart thing here is right here. This is not smart thing right here. Common sense says go here. Without common sense says do this. This person might be dangerous. I do my best not to move. I watch as the figure looks back and forth down the tunnel. It's unclear if he's looking for something or just as lost as I am, but he can't see me in the dark, and after a moment the figure rushes away through a door. Just as well, I don't want to reveal myself to anyone until I know more about where I am. Let's continue. The graphics are getting really nice. As I head further into the tunnel, I reach another platform. I'm looking and trying to process where I am now when I suddenly hear the rapid footfalls of someone running towards me. They're sprinting this way from the dark side of the tunnel, and fast. I can't see anything, but their footsteps echo towards me. After seeing that person with the gun a moment ago, I'm not sure if this person is armed as well. I realize I only have a few seconds before they'll be on top of me. Hide and attack and stand out in the open. Well, I'm going to take my butt and hide. Thinking fast, I duck under the platform and hide in its shadow. I wait for a few seconds as the runner gets closer and closer, still cloaked in the dark. At the moment when they are about to come into the light, I lunge at them. We both go down and roll as an exhausted breath escapes them. From the grunting I could tell it's definitely a man. I end up on top and have him pinned to the ground. It's then that I can finally see his face. I can't believe my eyes. It's Dennis. Dennis, what the heck are you doing down here? I left you up at the logging site. I immediately release my grip and help him up. Oh my, Roger, it's you. I was about to have a heart attack. What the heck, man? I'm sorry, I say, gulping in air. My heart is racing. I didn't know it was you. How did you get down here? I ask. And why are you down here? You didn't seem fit to move. He bends over and puts his hands on his knees. Breathing heavily, I can see that the gash on his side is inflamed now. It's not safe up there, he says, as though that explains everything. I started running to get away and ended up here. Get away from what? I was waiting for you, where we last spoke, and then I heard something in the woods. At first I thought it was a car radio, some crackling static, but it was much louder, like some kind of demon. It got louder and freaked me out. I just started running. I fell into some kind of sinkhole. The dang ground just fell out from under me. I ended up in this weird hallway that led me to this tunnel. He pauses as if evaluating whether what he's just said is crazy or not. Well, you're here now, and honestly I'm glad to see you, I say. What do you say we check out this platform and see if we can get some answers? There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights they are dim, red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion at the logging site caused a power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to the large open area in the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We have stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the forests of Kentucky. It makes absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the heck we have walked into. I notice that Dennis seems confident though. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up the small utility ladder that is bolted into the opposite side of the travelway. When he reaches the large open area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heaving breath. You know what? Dennis says, exasperated. This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further. On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of wherever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby. Pull it together, man! I'm ashamed that I'm getting irritated with him. "Oh, you think I'm just relaxing here?" he asked sarcastically. "Sorry if I'm slowing your progress. Great plan you got here, by the way." His response makes my blood boil. I don't need this from him right now, that's for sure. Poor old Dennis has been through enough. I think that I've been too much of a scumbag to him, so I'll help him up slowly. I can't stand the guilt anymore. A sappy apology comes out of my mouth before I can clamp my lips down against it. I'm sorry, I lost my temper, I say. It was uncalled for, but I'm under some stress here, as I'm sure you can understand. He hesitates for a moment, and I'm sure that he'll ignore me, but he surprises me. "I get it," he says. "Apology accepted. As for me, sorry I was being a jerk." Apparently bleeding out makes me kinda high-strung. Dennis is always high-strung and about 2 harsh words away from trading punches with someone, but I keep that to myself. We exchange an awkward look and put it behind us. It is no different than some argument we might have had on the job site over a few beers. One thing is for sure, I'd much rather be arguing with him over a few beers than here in this nightmare. I reach down, help him to his feet, and then we get ourselves up on the platform. Right in front of us there's an entrance to a long hallway, exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realize these red emergency lights might be on for someone else who is actually supposed to be here. Like that guy I saw earlier standing on the platform. We're always going to stay quiet. I'm never going to yell out. It does not make sense to me. I mean, be like a ninja. I'm still not sure if I want to alert anyone to the fact that there are strangers in this secret place. And the thought of hearing a scream, even my own scream in this empty place, is too much to bear. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious that it's meant to be a secret. And if it is supposed to be a secret, and there was a power outage recently, maybe most everyone has been evacuated. But then why was that one person still here? This thought does nothing to make me feel any better as we walk towards the platform exit. We step inside and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through, weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. Can't wait to see this, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like I'm in an episode of the X-Files. The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area I've seen since coming to in the woods. I've been seen coming to the woods. It looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the walls and the floor looks well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and a small flashing red light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. That ringing noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thought. But for what? Dennis asks. And then he asks the question that has been on my mind since I found the little building in the woods. What the heck is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise and the unmistakable noise of a generator kicking on. Oh boy. Can't wait to see. Oh boy, music's getting scary. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by bright white fluorescent ones. That mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped. So it had been an alarm. But for what? Just the power failure? We head down the hallway, the electric hum of the lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, the place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long with 2 main doors. One door opens onto a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and papers strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall in defeat and lets out a scary-sounding chuckle. "Something funny?" I ask as a dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. "I'm just going to sit here while you look around," he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. Okay, so Dennis is pretty bad shape here. I was a scumbag. I left him up there up top. I didn't bring him with me. I was a scumbag to him down here, and then I kind of had a heart and, tried to help Dennis up. So let's try to enter the lab, because, a lab possibly may have something to help Dennis out. Maybe we can, be the good person and try to help out Dennis and, wrong the mistakes I've made against him, leaving him bloodied and alone up on the surface. Alright, so we're entering the lab because there may be something useful in the lab. That's my decision and I'm sticking to it. Wow, that's nice. I like that. Very small lab. Walking inside, I see small vials and glass containers held in a clear glass case. Everything is either glass or silver, and I instantly feel like I'm dirtying the place up. I notice several test tubes in glass cases, as well as some sort of tube system that seems to have a clear fluid trapped inside of it. In the back corner, I find a laptop in screensaver mode. Oh, this is a tough decision, guy. I don't know what to do here. Oh boy. What would you do? I have no idea what to do here. I know. Do I look at the test tubes or do I look at the laptop? So some tube systems that has clear fluid. I doubt that the clear fluid is any kind of medicine. It's something probably weird. But I don't know what to do here. This just got me. I kind of want to look at the test tubes. That's what I want to do. I know the laptop might have more answers on it, but I'm just curious about the test tubes. I can't help but check out the test tubes. They're all filled with varying green and light blue fluids. One of them looks to have some sort of glowing dirt resting in the bottom of it. Another holds what it looks like a grasshopper submerged in liquid, only it's the strangest grasshopper I've ever seen. At first it looks like it's expanding and contracting like a blowfish. Then it contracts so much that it vanishes completely. That's weird. As I look closer, it springs back into existence in a completely different test tube, and I'm embarrassed when I actually jump back. I see a laptop sitting on one of the workstations and wonder if it's worth checking out. Excuse me. Let us take a look at the laptop, of course, so we could do both. I hit the enter key and a plain gray-black background pops up. There are several icons and folders to choose from. I click on a folder labeled Test 1.5 Ethos. A few documents are filled with formulas and names I mostly don't understand. But there are some things that were easy to understand, things that make my blood go cold. Subject number 6, cause of death, embolism or aneurysm or both. Ideas for new delivery mode, spherical, liquid, induced comatose state first, TerraCore company, I guess, possible plutonium supplier. I take another look around the lab, trying to piece together what they might have been might have been taking place here. I smell some sort of chemical in the air, and it makes me think that someone has used this lab recently. Outside in the hallway, I hear Dennis grunting. I head out of the room to see him still seated on the floor, but I don't get very far because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. Now we're getting it. Now we're getting into it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy. Scary, scary. It's hard to look beyond his rifle, but the man carrying it is young, with messy dark hair. What does his hair matter when he's got a rifle pointed at you? His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who's been cooped up for a little too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I'd trust with a gun in a stressful situation. As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up. It is aimed directly at my head. Dennis jumps up and stands next to me like he's ready to run for it. I recognize him by his height and build. He's the person I could barely see back in that dark tunnel. Alright, so this is another tough decision. I can tell that these decisions are getting very, very tough as we go along. So, and there's two of us. One of us might get shot. I'm having a feeling that's what'll happen if I try to attack. But I don't want to be a punk either. Well, let's just play it safe for now, guys. We'll play it safe. Put hands up in the air. I put my hands in the air, surprised at how natural it feels to go into this surrendered state. Maybe it's because this feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake if the maniac pulls the trigger. Who are you and how did you get here? The man asks harshly. Before we can answer, he continues speaking. I don't recognize you. If you're here, you would have had to sneak by the security mics in the entrance hall. What? I ask, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asks. Did you do this? The man eyes us both, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He is scared, but there's something else. Okay, well, we're just loggers. Well, would he believe it? We're nobody, don't shoot us. I'm gonna go with we're just loggers. His eyes look distant for a minute, and then he says, BS. But for some reason, I am pretty sure he knows I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back up, it's back on now, but if it was out long enough, well, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you? Who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The armed man asks, thrusting the gun in my face. How the heck did we get in this situation, I think to myself. If only I had left that dang ringing noise alone, we wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to give this guy information yet. We don't know anything about him. Then again, he might have answers. Well, I don't want to lie to the guy, but sometimes if you're about to be shot, maybe, but we're looking for our crew. I'll be honest with the dude. I mean, it might keep us alive. Excuse me. We have other crew members that we can't find, I say. Your crew? He asks, seeming confused. If this man thinks we're nuts, there's no telling what he might do. The fact that he looks a little crazy himself makes the situation even hairier. But how'd you get in here? The man asks. I point down the hall towards the subway. We came in that way. The doors weren't locked. His expression calms a bit, but I'm still very aware of the gun that is leveled less than a foot away from my face. If I grab the gun, Dennis is going to die. That poor old Dennis. I know it. Dennis is done. It's going to, just be bad for poor old Dennis. I want to grab the gun. Dennis is probably a dead man anyway. This guy doesn't seem like he could be too bad, though. This is tough, guys. This is tough. I need you to comment your little hearts away to your decision making. This is what you would do, because this baffles me what to do right here. Please put the gun down, I say. You ask the man calmly to put his gun down. The only way I'm putting this rifle down is after I've blown your brains out, the man says. Well, there's my chance, I guess, to grab the gun. With that, he sticks the muzzle of the gun in my face. It's a childish move, a playground tactic at best, but it's sufficient to show me that he knows he's in control now. He then levels the rifle at Dennis, and I can only assume it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and me, his eyes pleading for help. Well, I'm gonna try to right my wrongs from leaving a wounded man up on the surface to die, so step between Dennis and the gun. Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, I step out in front of Dennis. The barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. Both Dennis and the man seem a little confused at my action, and I do my best to swallow down my fear. I don't know what's going on here, I say, but we are here by mistake. Well, you have no business here, the man says, but now that the power is on, I think you might be too late anyway. For what? I ask. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me backwards with the end of his rifle. The man then repeats a question he asked before, one that makes no sense and honestly makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you? He asks. You from the Pentagon? I'm not quite sure how to take this question. Is this guy joking? Yeah, I'm the president. No, I gotta say it, guys. I gotta say it. I'm crazy. I gotta say it. The armed man looks as if someone has slapped him. You think I'm playing? He asks, jabbing me with the barrel of the gun. You think I won't blow your head off? Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. You both just stand still, he says. Sooner or later, someone will come along and I'll turn you over. He again thrusts the gun forward as if it has an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that. I'll tell him. I have no guarantee that he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says, we don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. Then in a movement so fast that I just about miss it, Dennis lunges forward. I have no idea how he is moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving lightning fast, his left arm coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there is a moment where I think I've been hit. It takes the clanging noise of the round tearing into the floor at my feet to help me realize that I have not been shot. I look to the floor and see where the shot missed my right leg by less than 3 inches. I'm paralyzed, in shock for a moment, as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall. I could use it as a bludgeon, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. Punch that sucker, man. We don't need no fire extinguisher. Dennis has the man pinned to the floor, but isn't strong enough to keep him down. As I fall to the floor to help, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, a reminder of how close I had come to being shot. On my knees, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often. Never, really. I'm not usually the brawling type. Still, it is apparently effective. The man's head snaps back hard, and his grip on the gun loosens. Dennis grabs the gun and falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker is immobilized, and I can feel a shift in the situation. Yet, although he is basically harmless now, I feel a need to pummel him. A desire that builds with each second I look at him. You know what? In all those movies where they just knock somebody out and the monster or the villain gets back right up a little bit later in the movie, we're going to keep punching the sucker, and we're going to make sure the sucker stays down. You kept hitting the man after he was down. I'm not sure where the anger comes from. It's probably been buried under the panic and exhaustion. but it comes out in a series of punches, my fist flying as I kneel over him. My right hand smashes into his nose, drawing blood. My left clips his lower lip, busting it. "Roger!" Dennis yells. "What are you doing?" He's defenseless now. Somewhere in the flurry of punches, I bust open his right eyebrow. It's not until I see the multiple trails of crimson flowing and trickling down his face that I finally stop. I look to my fist as if I have never seen them before. I'm slightly embarrassed that I was unable to stop myself. Dennis instantly hands the rifle over to me, and I take it with shaking hands. "I can't believe you stepped between me and that gun," Dennis says. "He could have killed you." "I was pretty sure he wouldn't," I say, although I had known no such thing. "Still, thanks, man. That was some heroic stuff." "You would have done the same, right?" Dennis says nothing. His eyes look to the floor. "I don't think you need to keep hitting him like that," Dennis says, trembling in his voice. I don't say anything. He's probably right, but it was too much of a risk. "What do we do now, boss?" Dennis asks. "We've come this far, and I want answers." I sense that Dennis does too. I take a hard look at the man before I reply. "We get answers from this guy." "No answers," the man managed to whisper, his eyes fluttering. Blood is all over his head and neck from where I let loose on him. "Okay, let's move," I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. "We've come this far, and I'm not going to let this guy stop us." We walk down the hallway until we come to the end. A single elevator waits for us, its steel sliding doors larger than a normal elevator. Let's continue on. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Before I get into the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. "What's your name?" I ask. "Marcus. And you work here?" It's clear that he doesn't want to answer, but he gives us a little nod. "We're looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be?" I ask. "No," he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. "There's got to be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for it." I need a first aid kit for my friend here," I say. "Where might I find one?" "Down on the second floor," he says. "But we can't go down there." "Oh, we are going down there, okay?" He looks at me like I'm an idiot. "You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility," he says. It makes sense, but I want to doubt it. "Well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm the president, so take me to the first aid kit." "I can't," he says. "You don't have clearance." "Heck, I barely have clearance." Then, seemingly to himself, he mutters, "I make this place run. And not even a thank you, just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go into with a freaking chaperone, sorry." I interrupt his monologue. We're going to that first aid kit. "I could lose my job," he says, squinting through the blood where I'd bashed him over and over. I wonder for a moment what sort of trouble I could get in for hitting a government employee, especially as hard as I did. Then again, he had come at us with a rifle. It makes me think that things have gone terribly wrong in this place, and the explosion in the woods, or whatever the heck had happened, might be linked to it all. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor, but I'm not sure if it would be productive to threaten him or ask for his sympathy. The man's been through enough. We bloodied his face to a pulp. He's not going to look good anymore. He'll have no dating life whatsoever again, because we beat him senseless, and his face is just probably all messed up, so we're gonna just be nice to this guy from now on. Look, I say, it hasn't been the best day. We're just trying to find out what's going on, to find our crew to survive. I know that this isn't a normal situation down here. It looks like all your protocols have been blown to heck. Can't you help us out? He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. Okay, he says. Thank you, I say. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the door. He punches in a numerical code on the keypad, and we can hear a slight mechanical hum behind the steel doors. After a few seconds of angry glances and frightened sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel doors slide open with a whisper, revealing the interior. Oh boy, here we go. What's down in this crazy secret government facility? It's exceptionally well lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I half expect the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small keypad on the front right panel by the door with options for 3 sub-level floors. Looks like this elevator doesn't go to the surface. So after we get a first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here, I ask. We can't leave, Marcus says. Once the power came back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. Can't you override it? No, it's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't. Marcus looks as deflated as Dennis. We can't get out. We're stuck here. Dennis leads into the corner and almost falls onto the floor. The struggle for the rifle took a lot out of him. I can see that much in his face. Slowly we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motors fill the space. What can you do? So this is a tough choices are coming up here, ladies and gentlemen. I wish I had your help here. Anyone that will watch this. So we are stuck here forever. So what can you do? There's got to be something that can be done. Oh boy, this is tough for me. What can you do? Marcus bristles at the question, but I think it's fair. I mean, he's not allowed to unlock the doors or even get medical supplies. Why keep a guy around who can't even grab a band-aid without permission? Without me, nothing will get done here, Marcus answers me. These people think they're so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. The top coder in my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living underground. Helpless idiots who don't even trust me with keys. I'm curious to what goes on here, but we're gonna find out. But I'm gonna say that there's how big is this place, but I'm guessing it's pretty big. Marcus shakes his head. You may as well shoot me. I can't tell you. Why not? It's beyond classified. It's the X-Files. I'm just kidding. And the things I know don't even cover the start of it. What does that mean? I asked, starting to get irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. I'm gonna go... How big is this place? It's a government facility of the highest secrecy, Marcus says. A research facility. It goes 4 stories underground, and quite frankly, it scares the piss out of me that you two got in here so easily. Why is that, I ask. This is a Black Ops graveyard. He replies, even the CIA doesn't know this place exists. This is a great story, I love it. So what's your job? What knocked the lights out? I'm curious what knocked the lights out. Did something like escape or, what happened? Seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There was an outage and then... Then what? Dennis asks weakly. Then things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how? I ask. The whole place seemed to shake when the lights went out. I was checking the monitors when it happened and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but they only lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw... What? I asked, feeling a sharp worm its way into my guts. Well, what I saw on the screens for that little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. I think whatever it is, it's still down here. Hold on, I say. There's an emergency vault with a rifle in the same room as the security cameras in this place? Marcus gives me a grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place. Just in case, you know? Just in case of what? So we're obviously still in danger here. Marcus is like about to pee himself. Dennis is dying and bleeding out, and we're standing here talking. So we know we're in danger. But so we wanted to see what, just in case of what. As he opens his mouth to answer, the elevator comes to a stop and the doors slide open. Marcus is out right away without a word. He makes his exit and heads directly for a glassed-in room that is filled with computer monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I file out behind him, trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my head. What the heck kind of government facility keeps loaded guns in emergency vaults in every single room? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of Chapter 2. We're going to take a look at my decision-making compared to other players. So let's check it out. Very good game. I give it a big thumbs up. Well, here's curiosity. You and 42% of players stayed quiet when you saw Marcus in the tunnel. So why would you scream out if you see a man with, I don't know, with a gun? Alright, so I was in the bottom percent. I guess because of curiosity, but selflessness. You and 64% of players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. Mercy. You and 36% of players kept hitting Marcus after he surrendered. Or 35. But I'm happy to be in that lower percentile there, because it might affect me later on, and it might make him a little sore at me, but at least I knew that guy was staying down if we left him behind. But I didn't know he was coming with us, so I'm sorry about it, Marcus, but your face had to be beat to a pulp. I am a scumbag. I did leave Dennis up on the surface. I did beat your face to a pulp, but I do have somewhat of a heart here and there. Little hints of it here and there. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. Chapter 3 is coming tomorrow, so stay tuned. And I hope you like it. Them thumbs up, I love them. And I hope you subscribe. If you want, if you're new, share to your friends, and just comment. I want to hear feedback. I want to hear what your decisions on this game is. I am so excited. I mean, I'm going through this brand new. I'm not playing through the whole game at first. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just going through it blindly. Just like, if you have never played and you're watching this, that's the way I'm going through it too. That's why I wish you had your guys over my shoulders giving me some suggestions. That would be fun. Alright guys, I love my viewers. I love my subscribers. And I hope you all have a great day. And I just am excited today because this story is getting good. And I just have some great gaming experiences out there and YouTube watching. And I wish you all the best. Take care. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.